And I guess I've been dreaming. 'Cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming. 'Cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming. 'Cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming. 'Cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming.
Oh, peace and love to all the guys and goddesses and the high vibrating species on the planet. What it is, what it do. How is the world treating you today? You know what I'm talking about? Man, listen here. Academates, welcome back to the channel. Yo, this guy. What in the direct, what? You see the screen. You see it. Look. What is that? I've been putting it off for a minute. I saw it a while back, a couple videos ago. And I was like, what in the hell is that? Because it was just on the table. It was like, it was looking crazy, right? So one of the academy said, man, that's the flesh that hates. That's SCP-610. Is that what it looked like? But okay, so okay. Yeah. So I saw this scale the other day, right? So this supposed to be the, like, I guess the biggest SCP out of all of them. Like, it's big. So you looking at this thing is like, it's standing over you. Like, big, on some big stuff. On some Titan big, right? It's ugly as hell. I can't even lie. Before we even get started, it's ugly as hell. Like, what is it? Ugh. All right. I hope everybody good out there. Because we finna get this thing busting. This thing ugly as, I don't know. I can't even describe it. We're going to let them do that for us. This shit is crazy. But SCP-610, the flesh that hates. And I don't even like using the H word no more. You feel me? But since that's in the title, I guess we just going to give it to you like that, right? High vibes. I hope you got what you need. I do. Let's do this. Bust.
610. The flesh that hates.
Boy, it looked like it.
Disease has affected humanity for thousands of years.
True.
From the Black Plague to smallpox to cancer.
I wonder where that come from, but we're going to get to that later.
Illness, death, or worse. It's the or worse part that we're really going to focus on today, as SCP-610 is certainly one of the most horrifying diseases in the SCP universe.
I don't want that.
610 encapsulates many of the worst aspects of diseases, such as pain, physical deformity, and contagiousness, but it wouldn't be much of an anomaly without turning things up to 11. It's a fairly old and popular article on the SCP Wiki, but is fairly lengthy due to the number of exploration logs, so I'll summarize things for ease of understanding.
Please.
We see right away that 610 is classed as Keter, which usually isn't a good sign, and the containment procedures mention the ominous phrase, containment is impossible.
Look, bruh. God dang. Hey. I see why I put this off. Good gosh, man. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, let's get this over with, y'all. This is, my goodness gracious. Oh, my God.
To be currently isolated in Russia. Any organism seemingly infected with 610 or coming into contact with something infected should be immediately terminated with small arms and incendiary weapons
on everything.
From as far
Burn
away
it
as possible. 610 seems to spread through physical contact, and there is little concern for transmission via water or air. The Foundation first learned about 610 from the Russian government after a number of farmers in a region.
Don't they? Has anybody seen the jackets with the zippers with the teeth all around them that look like that thing? I'm telling you, boy, they be selling it to you. They be selling it to you. Let's get it.
In southern Siberia went missing, followed by the local police, regional police, and a government agent who all looked into the issue. A small military group was dispatched by the Russian government, but managed to quickly withdraw when they found evidence of the infection, at which point the Foundation was notified. Upon first contracting 610, an individual will develop symptoms similar to a contagious skin disease, such as rashes, itching, and increased skin sensitivity. Within 3 hours, blemishes resembling heavy scar tissue will break out in the chest and arms, spreading to the back and legs, eventually covering the entire body. High temperatures greatly increase the speed at which the infection spreads, up to as quickly as 5 minutes to fully cover an individual. Once an individual is covered in the scar tissue, their life functions will cease for roughly 3 minutes, and then they will restart at 2 to 3 times their normal rate. The scar tissue will begin rapidly moving and growing, warping normal bodily features in largely random ways. Sometimes the infection will appear to grow multiple limbs, or elongate various body parts, such as the head, and sometimes parts of the individual will split open entirely, resulting in horrifically misshapen figures. Some infected individuals will immediately and aggressively seek out human aid, resulting in further infections. Others will find a place to stop moving and root themselves to the ground, causing their fleshy growths to spread across nearby objects and areas, creating an area hospitable for continued growth of the infection. The Foundation first sent in remote drones to examine the infected region, but after learning that infected individuals aggressively seek to spread the disease and are utilizing a network of tunnels underneath the area to move, they sent in humans.
I'm appalled right now.
There are a number of exploration logs for 610 for both the unmanned drones as well as the human expeditions. The first exploration was done by a small unmanned drone nicknamed Herbie. Herbie entered into the vicinity of a small village that had been overtaken by the infection, named Site A. There seems to be an estimated 79 infected individuals in Site A, both mobile ones and immobile ones, but this is only a rough estimation. A number of buildings are still intact.
What y'all gonna do about
Many of them have suffered significant fire damage. After observing the village from a distance, Herbie is moved to enter Site A and follow an infected individual into a home. The home contains multiple infected organisms, and Herbie records the walking infected.
That's the picture. That's it right there.
Home multiple.
Yeah. That's it. That's what I saw. Man, what the boy? Get the man. Bro, that don't make a bit of sense, bro. What kind of... Who made this? Who made this damn disease, man? You need to have your whole face bow. What is that? What's the purpose of this? Don't worry, I'll wait. Well, get back to me. Get back to me. Get back to me. Oh, did I just move that? Hey. Hey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Academy. What the hold on, go back. Go back. Oh, okay.
Times
I didn't
before stopping at another infected sitting on a bed.
Y'all just
The
doing the
infected
most.
individual
What is
proceeds
that?
to assault the bedridden individual with a series of furious punches, causing them to flail their arms and unleash a piercing sound. The individual being beaten then projects a cloud of unknown matter from its chest cavity, and the first infected stops its punches and again moves around the home. It sits at the table, and tendrils from its face extend out and break off onto a few plates. It then leaves the house, and shortly after, a group of infected enter the home and consume the infected material from the plates, pressing it into whatever orifice they can on their bodies. The group leaves, and eventually so does Herbie, who bumps into the first infected individual. Their facial tendrils are intermingling with another infected, but Herbie continues on into a store. Here he finds more infected, but also a Russian soldier, who doesn't seem to be moving, but his eyes
that's
are constantly
horrible,
shifting.
guys. Like, come on, man. What is going on? I'm sorry to keep stopping it. I know I want to get through it, but bro, what the fuck? What is this? Man, I bet you it's foul. The odor in there is just like, there's nothing beating that. Oh my gosh, look at all this is. Oh, what the? Hey, I don't think it's gonna get any worse than this, fellas, or catamates, because I know it's some feminine energies, you know what I'm saying, that joins us as well. So forgive me for that. Catamates, what in the direct? What? I don't want nothing to do with this other than what we're going through. So I'm hoping it don't get any worse than this. This is nasty, bro. This is the epitome of nasty, man. Like, and I bet the pain is constant. Like, going through all the transitions. Oh my gosh.
Focusing on Herbie. In the back room, Herbie finds a pile of bodies, seemingly both Russian military and villagers, but an infected sits on top of the pile, flailing and projecting spores into the air. Herbie leaves the store, spotting a group of infected with their arms connected, standing around a well. One of the infected, a girl roughly 11 years old, grabs Herbie and stares at the drone. The girl's face suddenly expands and explodes outwards as fleshy flaps grab Herbie and draw it inside the girl. The video feed ends here, but resumes 5 hours later as Herbie's camera is pointed straight at the well, with a slimy film oozing across the lens. Herbie responds to no commands, but the camera seems to be moving of its own accord before being destroyed. During the construction of the containment perimeter, several D-Class personnel were infected, and although most of them were put down immediately, a few were put into cold storage in order to slow the infection. In hopes of finding out more information, and possibly an origin for 610, 3 infected D-Class were sent into Site C, which seems to be possibly the first village that was infected. The D-Class are each given a pistol, some food, and an emergency flare, and are also given a gallon of gasoline. They are instructed to enter the site and focus on observing, but if they are attacked or are about to succumb to the infection, they are to cause as much damage to the site as possible. As the D-Class enter the site, the ambient temperature rises sharply, reaching 32 degrees Celsius, or 89 degrees Fahrenheit, keeping in mind this is Siberia. The primary cause of this seems to be a large number of pylons arrayed around the site, which appear to be 2 to 4 infected individuals fused together.
It's cold in Siberia.
Heat vents out of various holes on these pylons, and it's believed that this is an advanced stage of 610, terraforming the environment. The D-Class, who is furthest along in their infection, begins to have a seizure, with the infection covering their body in 40...
Damn, boy, but that look like an infected fly. I bet you ain't got a fly swatter for that, mother.
5 seconds. Another D-Class kills them with their pistols, leaving their equipment where it is. While perimeter control is giving new instructions to the 2 remaining D-Class, the ground underneath the dead D-Class opens up. A series of ropey tendrils come from within the gap and pull the corpse inside before closing back up again, in the matter of a few seconds. The remaining 2 quickly move into the village, and find a fleshy sphere suspended above the community well by other fleshy growths. The sphere is comprised of both infected humans as well as infected deer and bears, and it continually pulses every 5 seconds, causing spores to project outwards and float to the ground. One of the D-Class begins dousing the sphere with gasoline and lights it on fire with their emergency flare. A tremendous noise is heard from an unknown location that is described as both explosive and alive. The sound is heard by perimeter control near both Sites A and C, and 15 seconds after it stops, a series of explosions occurred at Site A, and finally, the sphere explodes.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on. So it is wherever the infection touches, it brings it alive and turns it into some nasty monster? Because this thing look like it just peeled out of the wall, bro. It don't look like it. See, look, I'm looking around. It didn't break through the wall. Maybe it chewed through it or something, or it could possibly be the freaking wall, y'all.
One of the D-Class dies instantly from the explosion, but the other D-Class manages to stand back up, and the video footage seems to show them getting flung through the air before an unknown creature smashes the video equipment. When the sphere in Site C was destroyed, aerial footage of Site A showed the infected of Site A going into seizures and convulsions. Immobile infected shriveled up and died, along with any fleshy growths covering objects, and the mobile infected made their way into a single building. This building soon collapsed, revealing a sinkhole underneath it. The sinkhole is the size of 3 men standing shoulder to shoulder, but objects dropped do not produce an impact sound, suggesting a depth of possibly greater than 1,000 meters. Research quickly showed that all presence of 610 infection died at Site A above ground, allowing the Foundation to properly set up stations within the village. They quickly gathered what materials they could, but 2 hours later, seismic activity began to occur, forcing them to retreat back to the perimeter. Immediately after the earthquake stopped, a torrent of spores erupted from the sinkhole, covering a 50-meter radius around it. Right after this, staff members still on site in hazmat suits were attacked by birds infected with 610. Many of these creatures attacked by splitting their heads in half and clamping them down on individuals, pulling them into the air and dropping them into the hole, although only 2 research staff members were dropped into the hole. The creatures were put down with small arms fire, but a second seismic event occurred, causing another eruption of spores, followed by a new 610 entity emerging from the sinkhole. This entity appeared to be an engorged human head, 20 times larger than normal, with no discernible body. The earthquake reached to a 7 on the Richter scale before abruptly stopping, at which point video and radio contact was lost with the on-site team. No trace of the team was found afterwards, and they are considered lost. Clearly, there were far worse instances of the infection located underground, and so the Foundation sent another unmanned drone to explore the sinkhole and any tunnels or caverns it led to. This drone was equipped with aerial capabilities, and begins to fly down the sinkhole for a couple of minutes. Examination of the sinkhole walls leads to researchers to believe
incendiary bomb in that bit, bruh. Stop
rather
playing.
Than dug out over
Y'all
time.
ain't finna do nothing with this that you can contain.
Traces of 610 material are found on the walls, and increase in density as the drone continues to descend. Small tunnels branch off from the sinkhole, but 250 meters down, the bottom of the sinkhole comes into view, sloping sharply into a tunnel heavily coated with 610 material. As the drone continues through the tunnel, it spots a live deer wriggling while being held in place by tendrils. Further on, there are a number of large lumps along the tunnel, which seem to be heavily infected humans. The drone flies past a running stream of water, at which point the tunnel splits, with one descending and one ascending. The drone is sent on the ascending path to make it easier to recover, and continues along the path for 45 minutes, finally coming out of the tunnel into a windy, mountainous region. Here there are the remnants of another village that was once heavily afflicted with SCP-610, and it seems that the buildings still here were constructed entirely out of 610 material. With little else to see here, and the high winds making drone recovery impossible, the drone is sent back into the tunnel. A deep roaring sound is heard, and the video feed begins to cut out, but shows the drone quickly descending down the tunnel. Finally, the feed shows a massive distorted human face filling the tunnel and rushing up towards the drone. The onboard weapons are utilized to fire on the face, but the wounds on the entity quickly heal, and soon the drone is swallowed. 3 hours later, the video feed comes back for a few moments, showing a series of structures and a vast number of infected individuals. The camera pans on its own before being destroyed, as if something wanted to show this. You can likely guess what comes next, but now that it's clear that the 610 infection is spread deep underground, and they seem to be capable of creating tunnels, the Foundation approved a manned assault excursion. A total of 5 teams were sent into the tunnels, 2 research and 3 assault, in the hopes of setting up a base of operations from which a full assault could commence. The teams descended into the sinkhole and quickly set up a base where the tunnel split. After a base was set up and samples were gathered, the expedition continued on into the unexplored descending tunnel. The group walked the tunnel for 20 kilometers without encountering any 610 entities, and so they requested a transport buggy be brought down to aid the exploration. While waiting for it to be delivered, the team was ambushed by a group of large 610 infected life forms who were seemingly coming out of the walls, or perhaps being formed from the materials on the walls. These life forms seems to entirely consist of 610 material, instead of an infected organism, and small arms proved to be nearly useless, forcing the assault team to rely on incendiary weapons. Unfortunately, a large number of the team were swept away in the water current that ran alongside the tunnel. The assault team now consisted of 3 members, with only a single flamethrower, although they did each possess their standard firearms and short-range personal incendiary weapons. They are instructed to continue the exploration and attempt to locate the lost team members that went into the water. A further 20 kilometers in, the river split away from the tunnel, forcing the team to abandon the rescue mission, in lieu of continuing along the tunnel. A number of hours later, the team reached the end of the tunnel, where they were again ambushed by 610 entities that seemed to be waiting for them. They managed to eliminate the entities, but used up the rest of the fuel in their flamethrower in the process. The tunnel opens up into a cavern containing a somewhat primitive village, with buildings clearly made by humans.
Upside down mouth.
A church with a working clock tower, and surrounding all the buildings is a depression in the ground filled with what looks like liquefied 610 material. The liquid ripples and moves of its own accord, and the team avoids it as they head towards the church.
Hideously nasty.
They have so far not seen any living entities as they enter the church, which contains 4 pews and a pulpit. For some reason, the inside of the church is immaculately clean, and there is a hole behind the pulpit, which contains more of the liquid material. Suddenly, the bell in the clock tower
bro, they just at the table just eating it, bro.
Triggering a shuddering and the sound of human screams coming
it's almost
from the
too much,
of the church. The team shines their lights on the ceiling, revealing a large mass of 610 material and 6 wooden circles. Strapped to the circles are live humans, coated entirely in 610 material, except for their heads. These humans continued to scream as the wooden circles descend towards the floor. The team hears a creature cry out from outside of the church, and they extinguish their lights and hide behind the pulpit. A figure, seen past the doorway of the church, brings a torch and lights a series of candles, as well as a rope coated in 610 material that causes the fire to spread up to a chandelier system. The light from the chandelier illuminates the captive humans, showing that they seem to be covered in a different type of material that's red and constantly shifting. A group of infected entities enter the church and begin ripping off the red material from the humans, causing them to scream even more. It's believed that the red material is using the humans as a food source, and the
Hey, it looked like they went and put the infection on the sculpture, didn't it?
infected
and
entities
the sculpture
then
changed on
consume
y'all.
The red material. The infected continue feeding for 6 minutes before the torchbearer hits a gong, and they take a seat in the pews. The torchbearer then suddenly collapses, and a pillar of infected flesh emerges from the hole behind the pulpit, reaching towards the pews. 10 minutes go by, with nothing making a sound or moving, including the captive humans, and finally the flesh retreats back into the hole. The infected entities leave the church, and eventually so do the 3 team members. As they leave the church, however, one of them gets suddenly thrown through the air by a large tentacle, and a flood of infected entities come out towards the remaining 2. The 2 drive back the horde as best as they make their way back towards the buggy, but one of them is killed by the torchbearer entity, who now wields a large crop scythe. The final team member makes it to the buggy, but finds it half covered in 610 material, and looks desperately for another way out. The scythe wielder approaches them, 2 shots are fired, and the camera feed goes out. No further expeditions have been sent into the area thus far. SCP-610 is among the highest rated articles on the SCP Wiki, largely because it's just so incredibly weird. While we certainly have behavior-altering parasites in our world, such as one species of the cordyceps fungus, there's nothing nearly as horrific or complex as SCP-610.
Dang, bro.
The original author of 610 wrote it as a standalone article.
I
But
see.
over time, as the concept of sarcasm developed on the wiki, many in the community have accepted 610 to be an integral part of it. There have been multiple mentions of the Sarkic cults utilizing a disease known as the Red Death, and it's believed that 610 is their ultimate weapon in their goal of reshaping the planet. Whether a standalone SCP or part of something
But
much
you can't
larger,
contain that thing, nor control
SCP-610
it.
is a brilliant and terrifying showcase of the ravages of disease.
Brilliant my ass, bruh. You got me fucked up all the way. Ain't nothing brilliant about that, bro. Ain't nothing brilliant about that. I don't care what you say. Ain't nothing brilliant about that. That's no, bruh. That's completely negative. It's all red, root chakra, straight negative. It's full of pain, suffering, and sorrow, and all this other just straight negative. Negative. Ain't nothing brilliant about it. I can't name not a person, not a noun, species, or anything that wants to tangle with this or won't even be a part of it, want the disease. I think I speak for the whole cosmos. Nobody wants to deal with this. Nobody. It's ugly. It's hideous. It's nasty. Ain't nothing brilliant about it. But that's just my opinion. Why I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, bro. Now that's no. I mean, I would just bow, you know what I'm saying? Something. I wouldn't do this. And then you talking about Red Death. They don't look dead to me. This is Resident Evil at its finest. I think, matter of fact, Resident Evil, like, listen, the T-Virus ain't got shit on this. What'd they say up there? What'd they say? Anything else? What book this is? Oh. Max Willian, Book of Horrors. And so, in the cold land, the flesh spreads its horrors throughout Kethria. And one banished them with his hammer. But it was too late. Kithra had fallen. Juan, who is Juan? But anyway, Juan spoke mournfully, and his signal was heard throughout the land. The flesh cannot truly die. What I say? When it comes again, Kithra will once more fall. 5 years shall pass after the end of Kethra, and the flesh shall come again. When it does, another year shall pass, and the great battle shall begin. the Maxwellian Book of Orders. Alright, Academy mates. I can't necessarily say I hope you enjoyed the video. I can say I hope you didn't bite stomach turn as much as mine did. I hope I didn't sicken you out. I hope I didn't ruin your meal. But we had to get it over. Huh, Stick Bot? We had to do that, huh? He said we had to do that. So we had to go and get it out the way. Man, that's horrible. Horrible. Wants no parts of it. Again, I want no parts of it. Again, my opinion, it's not brilliant. I wouldn't do it. I would just burn it all. Just scrap it. Scrap it, burn it all, throw it out. We don't want it. No, nothing to do with it. You feel me? Catamates, I appreciate you joining me. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Come back again. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your way out. No pressure, of course. You already know how we do. No pressures over here. You feel me? We just vibing high. I can't vibe with that, though. Y'all keep your head on the swivel. Watch out for anything that's peeling off the wall, turning into a monster trying to get at you. Yeah, keep yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally protected. I don't know how I want to feel about this right now. I'm kind of indifferent. It's kind of it's crazy. I mean, I guess just we don't want no parts of it. I guess that's how I feel. No, it's how I feel. Damn that. No. We just gonna no. That's how I feel. No. And keep your CT on. Do your due diligence, please. You know what I mean? Don't take everything for face value. Take it for what it is and go do some research. And then make it what it's supposed to be.